Hi, it's Alison Mead from Silicon Bullet here on another autumn walk with Daisy, who's just having a wee, as dogs do. I'm going to try and walk somewhere where there's less swishy leaves today. So following on from a video I did yesterday about checking your bank balance in your online accounts package, especially where you've got bank needs, to make sure that it's actually correct and matches your bank. What do you actually do if it doesn't? So I had a scenario where I had a client who does their own bookkeeping and then just asks me at the end of the quarter, before they do the VAT return, to go in and have a little check and make sure that they've done everything right. And they are quite prone to doing duplications, and although they're quite comfortable entering things, they're not quite so comfortable troubleshooting and working out what to do when something's gone wrong. So I can just go in and spend half an hour to an hour and just make sure everything's clear. What they haven't done before, though, is actually tell me what their bank balance is at their bank. And when I went in and had a look this time, they just sent me their very latest bank statement. Their bank balance was out by £4,999.98. It's like, right, well, what do you do now then? So I'm just going to talk you through the process of what I did for this client. Because as far as they were aware, when they checked previously, the bank balance was correct and they hadn't checked it for a little while. So, first thing is, I tell all my clients, download your bank statements from your bank. Even if they don't get sent to you in paper, download them, save them as a PDF. Go in there regularly and do it, because some banks won't allow you access to statements that are older than 6 months. I keep an eye on my personal accounts as well. The really annoying thing with my Tesco credit card, which I like to keep an eye on, I can't download transaction lists longer than about a month and a half. So when I'm trying to do that, I need to go in regularly and download what I need, is basically what I'm saying. Otherwise, you might not have that available. So download bank statements rather than going and saying, I want a transaction list from this date to this date. Because transaction lists, you can notoriously miss transactions out, be in a slightly different order. Whereas a statement, once a bank has issued you with a bank statement, those numbers and the order of the transactions should never change. So a bank statement is kind of your line in the sand where nothing's going to happen from there on in. So first thing I did for this client with the error was ask them to send me all of their bank statements. I then go in, so this is an example in Xero, but you can translate this to whatever package that you use. In Xero, up in the top right hand corner, when you are looking at any bank balance, in Xero there is a bank reconciliation report. So you click on that button and you tell the system what date you want to look at the report up until, and then it will show you the Xero balance for the bank account. It will show you any transactions you might have entered that are unreconciled. It will show you any bank import transactions that are unreconciled, and it will show you the statement balance. Now obviously, if you are finished, done, dusted and everything is sorted, when you go and run that report, the Xero balance should match the statement balance, which then should match the balance you get from your bank account. So in this case, my Xero balance matched my statement balance, but it was this just under £5,000 different from what the bank actually said was in the bank. So I took their bank statements and I basically went back a month at a time. So I did their balance as of the 31st of October, and that was out by just under 5,000. I then looked at their balance at the end of September. That was out by the same amount. I then go and check their balance for August, keep going back each month, and as long as the difference is the same each time and there are not more differences being introduced, you know you haven't hit the point yet where the problem is. And I'm not having to tick off any individual transactions at the moment. I'm just comparing the balance at a particular date with the balance on my bank statement and seeing what the difference is. I got back to May and there was still a difference. I then went back to April, and the difference in April was 2p. Just 2p. Now, as a bookkeeper, it would be lovely if everything was right to the last penny. But when I see a difference of 2p, I ain't going to worry about it. So I manually entered a transaction at the end of April for 2p, put it to bank fees, and I manually marked that as reconciled. That then meant when I reran the report for the end of the April, the difference in my bank account was now £5,000. Now, £5,000 is a much easier number to find, and it's a nice round number. And it may be that 5,000 is made up of a combination of different numbers, but let's hope you're lucky. So that meant then that I only actually had to go through and check the bank transaction by transaction in May and compare May in the accounts package to May on the bank statement. And what I found was there was a bank transfer in May for £5,000 from a bank account to a savings account, which just wasn't in zero. It had either been imported and accidentally deleted, or it had been one of those glitches, which does happen, where it hadn't even been imported. And at the time, the client had only just started using this savings deposit account. So that account back in May didn't even exist in zero. And when we'd been trying to balance that account, we had seen a payment for £5,000 that had been analysed to a dividend payment, and we had assumed that had been miscoded and that was the transfer. But no, here is a completely missing transaction in zero that you can then add in manually mark as reconciled, and hunky-dory there, lo and behold, the balance now at the end of October matches. So if you'd have thought that you had to go back and check everything and tick everything off manually, that could have taken an absolute age. So it's just being methodical, having all your bank statements there, and just going back month by month and looking for pinning down where the error occurred, and then having a look at the detailed numbers in that month to work it out. Now, if that doesn't make sense to you, if you're like, oh, that's all very well, that sounds very simple, but you know what you're doing. If you have an issue like this and you actually need some practical support in doing it, some hand-holding, then that's a service that I can offer. That if you've got all your statements downloaded and you want to share your accounts with me via a Zoom meeting where we can look at it together, then I can offer hand-holding with you in order to help you find the problem, or even just show you what I mean and how to do this, because it's not the sort of thing that you can share in a practical how-to video without sharing the confidential information of somebody's accounts. It's not something you can manufacture for demonstration purposes. So, you've got problems with your bank account, it's not balancing, it looks wrong, and you can't work out why, then do get in touch. So I am Alison Mead from Silicon Bullet. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can go to blog.siliconbullet.com and find my blogs with other top bookkeeping hints and tips that will either help business owners or independent bookkeepers in how to be better bookkeepers. Or you can follow my YouTube channel and send me a message through this as well, and we could have a hand-holding session. So that's Alison Mead signing off. I hope that might give you a clue on how to fix your problems in your bank account.